This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. A second Hoosier has died after contracting COVID-19. Now state leaders are stepping up efforts to stop the virus in its tracks.
Right now, we're at a point where nothing is open publicly except for pharmacies, grocery stores. Really nothing. Nothing is open right now.
An American family stationed in Italy has been quarantined for weeks. Now they're sharing their story only with RTV6. Hear their message to people back home.
We begin to anticipate the future, and most often the worst case scenario.
As Hoosiers begin to adjust to a new normal, practicing social distancing, mental health professionals say it's more important than ever to take care of yourself and others.
I went through the bread aisle and that was completely ransacked. So it's looking a bit hectic.
While restaurants and businesses are dealing with closures, grocery stores are having a very different problem. We're taking a look at measures they're taking to keep their shelves full so you have what you need.
And it is 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday. It's a Storm Team 6 alert day as well. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana.
We want to get right to meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, when can we expect that rain to hit central Indiana?
You know, it's mid-morning and then throughout the afternoon hours that rain will really be falling. As you walk out the door this morning right now, it's dry, just mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 30s and 40s. But definitely grab the umbrella if you are going to be out and about and you have to head into the office, or you can use the light rain jacket. But the umbrella probably a better option just because that rain is going to be so steady throughout the day, and it could be heavy at times, so the umbrella will protect you more than the rain jacket across the area. So the radar is quiet right now. The clouds, as I throw those on, are in place, and as we expand out, you'll see all the rainfall that is going to be heading our way later on this afternoon. There could be a few spotty showers as we work our way into the mid-morning hours, but it's really from the noon hour on that this rain becomes pretty steady across the area. It'll be rather heavy at times, especially I think of some southern locations, before it starts to taper off as we work our way into the evening hours. So prepare yourself for a very wet stretch of weather from the noon hour through about 8 p.m. This is the first of several rounds of rain that'll be heading our way in the next few days. We'll talk more about that, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. So if you're heading out on the roads at this hour, they are dry still. This is I-65 near Lafayette Road to our northwest. Everything here is traveling smoothly, still pretty quiet out there this morning. We'll let you know if there are any crashes or delays that will slow down your Wednesday commute.
State leaders are taking more action after a second death from the coronavirus was confirmed in Indiana. Health officials say the patient was a 91-year-old woman from Johnson County. She passed away at St. Francis Hospital South. The health department says 6 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed across the state. Those coming from Marion, Lake, and Franklin counties. A total of 30 people have now been reported with the virus statewide. A Marion County woman was the state's first COVID-19 related death.
And we're learning a little bit more about that first person in Indiana to die from this virus. Roberta Shelton is from Marion County, and she passed away on Monday. Our Rafael Sanchez found out that Shelton advocated for families of Abby Williams and Libby German. Those are the Delphi girls who were killed back in 2017. Shelton hosted a concert and other awareness events to support the families in the search for finding a killer. Via FaceTime, Libby's grandmother expressed her condolences and appreciation for Shelton.
She was wonderful. She was a huge advocate for Abby and Libby. She helped keep the story out there. But not just for Abby and Libby. She was an advocate for anybody that needed it.
Those who knew Roberta remember her for being action-oriented and giving.
In response to the deaths and increase in cases, Governor Eric Holcomb announced he is activating the National Guard to help with the outbreak. Holcomb says the Guard will be on duty to assist as needed. According to the governor's press secretary, the National Guard will be involved in planning and preparation with other state agencies. They would do things like assisting with the state and distributing hospital supplies.
And the response to COVID-19 is changing on a daily basis. The virus is altering life for so many people, and the fear of the unknown can be a trigger for anyone who's dealing with mental health issues. Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with a mental health professional on how you can help yourself and others. Kelsey, good morning.
Staying home for days on end can make anyone uneasy. But for those who are already dealing with mental illnesses, something like this can trigger or worsen the anxiety that they're already feeling. I spoke with clinical therapist Joel Hutton via FaceTime, and he says he has seen an uptick in clients reaching out for advice on how to handle their anxieties. He says the main type of anxiety he's seeing right now is dread, people anticipating the worst about the future. He says when your mind starts to wander, it's important to bring yourself back to what's happening right now.
One of my main words of advice is to trust yourself. That you have navigated unexpected circumstances hundreds, if not thousands of times throughout your life. And so even if unexpected circumstances happen as a result of the coronavirus, you can trust yourself to navigate those situations.
He says 3 things you need to keep in mind right now are to stay in the present, trust yourself, and look for support from others. Hutton says right now it's more important than ever that if you have a family member or a friend who battles mental illnesses, that you reach out to them right now and offer them help in any way you can, even if it's just listening to them. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to hear from an American who's living in Italy and who's been quarantined in Italy with her family for 3 weeks now. She'll share how she's coping and her message to Americans back here at home.
While restaurants and businesses are dealing with closures, grocery stores are having a very different problem. As people stock up on items for cleaning and social distancing, they're having a hard time keeping shelves full. Some stores like Target have started limiting hours to give workers more time to get ready for customers before opening again. Others, like Dollar General, have shifted their first hour of operation to be dedicated to seniors in an effort to keep them away from crowds. We talked to workers and customers about their experience.
Toilet paper, but there wasn't any, and eggs, but there wasn't any, and ground beef, but there wasn't any.
Went through the bread aisle, and that was completely ransacked. So it's looking a bit hectic.
In an effort to help stores stay stocked, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb signed an executive order last week. It lifts regulations on commercial vehicles transporting goods to retailers. While stores are busy, Kroger says it is hiring more employees to meet demand. The chain has immediate openings for the Kroger pickup team, cashiers, manufacturing plants, and distribution centers. If you're interested, you can apply at a neighborhood Kroger or submit an application online. You can find a link on our website, theindychannel.com.
It is 6:07 in less than 24 hours. Indiana raised more than $200,000 to meet Colts owner Jim Irsay's challenge to help Gleaners Food Bank. On Monday, Irsay said that he would contribute $1 million if the state could complete this challenge. Gleaners president and CEO John Elliott said the response was overwhelming and exceeded expectations. The donations come at a critical time as the food bank is seeing record numbers because of the coronavirus closures. Gleaners distributed nearly 1,200 emergency food boxes yesterday alone. Irsay said that he's proud of the city for coming together to help the community.
More universities are canceling commencement ceremonies amid the coronavirus outbreak. Purdue University says it is canceling in-person commencement and is working on alternate plans. Butler, Indiana State University have also canceled their ceremonies. Indiana University says they are still working on deciding what they will do. Others, like Notre Dame, with graduation planned in mid-May, say they're holding out hope their events will be able to go on as planned.
Americans are settling into a new normal as shelter-in-place orders go into effect across the country. Coming up, we're working for you, taking a closer look at what those orders mean.
And 2 American service members stationed in Italy have been under quarantine for weeks now. Hear their story coming up. Todd.
As you walk out the door this morning, grab the umbrella. It's not raining right now. It's not going to rain for several more hours, but once we get to the afternoon, the rain is going to become widespread and steady across the area, and it's going to linger all the way into the evening hours. This is the first of several rounds of rain heading our way over the next 48 to 60 hours. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:09. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Street, State Road 37 in Fishers.
While many people tend to take flood warnings lightly, keep in mind flooding kills more people per year in the United States than lightning and tornadoes combined. Here in central Indiana, we primarily deal with 3 different kinds of flood warnings. The first and most urgent is a flash flood warning. This means flooding is happening right now. Rivers and creeks are rising fast. Roads can quickly become flooded with moving water, and conditions will change rapidly. Flash flooding is often the most deadly of all flooding. A general flood warning means rivers and streams are rising, and those that live along waterways should use caution as the waters start to rise. Flood warnings often last a few days at a time as we wait for the water to crest. An aerial flood warning is issued after a period of heavy rain and when there is standing water across roads, in fields, and other areas. This generally happens over time, but roads could become impassable. The bottom line is whether the water is standing or moving, you should always turn around when encountering any kind of flooding.
Todd, thank you. As we continue to provide you with information for Severe Weather Preparedness Week, we do want to let you know a statewide tornado drill that was set for this morning has been canceled. The National Weather Service and Indiana Department of Homeland Security say they have decided to do this because they want people to focus on social distancing and protecting themselves from coronavirus. The agencies say they don't have a makeup date at this time.
It is 6:13. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic is not letting up, and health officials continue to stress the importance of social distancing as a way to fight COVID-19. And for some areas, a shelter-in-place order is a part of a new reality. John Lawrence has more on what those orders mean.
The threat of the coronavirus turning some cities into near ghost towns.
This is certainly a good time to learn how to live maybe a little bit slower, a little bit more positively.
A shelter-in-place order is expanding to cover about 8 million people in Northern California, and other places, including New York City, may face the same fate.
We're going to look at all other options, and it could get to that for sure. It could get that for the whole country.
So what is a shelter-in-place order? The short answer is, don't leave your house except for essential activities. According to the order in San Francisco, exceptions include tasks essential to maintain health and safety, getting mandatory services or supplies, outdoor activities such as walking, hiking, and running, and caring for a family member in another household. As for many students, virtual schooling will replace classrooms, possibly through the end of the school year.
I would plan and assume that it's unlikely that many of these schools, few if any, will open before the summer break.
Officials say social distancing in general will help slow the spread of COVID-19, and some people have a glasses-half-full view of the situation.
The positive for me is it's if everybody does it, it's going to slow this thing down.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Shelter-in-place orders have also have some employment-based exceptions. They include people who work in healthcare, grocery stores, gas stations, banks, garbage collection, and hardware stores.
As we're starting to adjust to the new reality with COVID-19 restrictions, some Americans who live in Italy are already more than a week into self-quarantine restrictions. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke with an Indiana woman who lives in Naples, Italy, with her family. Alyssa, what did she have to say?
You know what? She and her family are stationed there for the military. And honestly, after talking to her, she has a very positive outlook on what's happening around them right now. She also has some advice for people here in the U.S. who are just starting to deal with the impacts of the coronavirus. Sarah and her husband and their 5 kids are making the best of the restrictions at their Naples home. She sent me this video of the kids playing and doing homework and the view from their house. One of the benefits for their family is that they already homeschool, so the routine of being at home most of the day during the week is not a big adjustment. Sarah says they're still doing schoolwork the first half of the day, but then they have to get creative in the afternoons and evenings. One night her husband camped in the backyard with the kids. She says they're fairly lucky compared to some of the people under the restrictions. The only things that are open right now publicly are pharmacies and grocery stores, but if you want to go to one of those, there are some steps you have to take.
We have to carry a little certificate saying where we are going if we do leave the house. Wow. So if we get stopped by the Carabinieri, which is the police, we have to show them what we're doing.
and she says the most difficult part is the lack of social interaction with her friends there. And I asked her if she did have any advice for people here in the U.S., especially her friends here at home, who are just starting to deal with the impact of the coronavirus. And she said, if I could give one piece of advice, it would be take the situation seriously. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Great perspective there. Hawaii is now asking tourists to stay away from the islands for 30 days. This after a case of COVID-19 was confirmed on the Big Island. Hawaii now has 14 confirmed cases statewide. According to the governor, the newest case is a tourist from the mainland. State officials are now bolstering screening of cruise ship passengers and airport travelers. They're also shutting down all non-essential travel in the state, including between the islands. The new measures are expected to have a severe impact on the state's tourism industry. Todd, you were just in Hawaii. It sounds like you got back to the States just in time. Really sad that they're dealing with that now there.
Yeah, absolutely. And made it back just in time as far as our weather here in central Indiana today. You heard that noise, that beep. That's the sign that it's a Storm Team 6 alert day. That's the same beep you would hear if you had the Storm Shield app downloaded on your phone, and that would alert you to any warnings that get issued. Not expecting a lot in the way of severe weather the next couple days. Just a small chance of a few thunderstorms tomorrow, but if anything, I think we'll see more flood warnings in the coming days than anything. So today is dry for most of the morning. It's not until the middle half of the morning that we start to bring in the chance at least of a few isolated rain showers, but by the noon hour into the afternoon, the rain becomes steady and then it becomes heavy at times as well throughout the afternoon. We're in the 30s and 40s, so we're all above freezing. It's going to be an all-rain event, and these temperatures today will slowly climb throughout the area. In fact, our high temperature today is going to be in the low 50s. That's not going to occur until late tonight as we get closer to the midnight hour. Here's where we stand currently, and you see there's no yellow, green on the radar, and that means there's no rainfall here in central Indiana, although the clouds have been increasing throughout the overnight hours. You won't need the sunglasses this morning, but the rain itself is off to our west, and this is a good batch of rain. It's lifting off towards the northeast, so it's really what's here in southern Missouri that will target to make its way here into central Indiana throughout the course of the afternoon hours. The area of low pressure associated with a warm front coming through, so it's not out of the question by mid-morning we could be dealing with a few spotty showers across the area, but as I advance TrueCast, you notice the rain becomes more widespread, steady, and even heavier across parts of the area throughout the afternoon and evening. So I really think the afternoon is the wettest part of the day, and then once we get to the evening commute into the rest of the evening, we'll start to taper off the steady rainfall to just some scattered showers, but we're probably looking at about a half an inch to an inch of rain with this round that comes through today. Here's the temperature trend. As I mentioned, slow, steady climb throughout the day. By the time we get to 5, 6 o'clock, we're up into the upper 40s, right around 50 degrees. Then we'll slowly continue to climb from that point forward. And speaking of climbing, how about tomorrow, all the way up into the mid to upper 60s across the area. It's a very mild day for us, but you notice the rain remains and also these thunderstorm icons. And the Storm Prediction Center does have us under the marginal risk for severe weather. It's a slight risk just to our south, something we'll keep an eye on for you. I don't think it's a huge widespread problem. Any thunderstorms we see, the main impact would be some gusty, damaging winds coming through, but I think the overall rain event is going to be the bigger issue because by the time we get to Friday, we're looking at potentially up to 2 inches of rain across the area. The weekend, though, is brighter but colder with temperatures in the 40s. Lauren.
Todd, thanks for keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door this Wednesday, heading to work maybe. This is a look at I-465 and I-69 to the northeast. Usually a pretty busy spot for our commute. Still traveling smoothly this morning. No crashes or delays right now on your northeast side interstates to slow you down.
In Washington, lawmakers are working on a stimulus package meant to boost the economy as many businesses, large and small, begin to feel the pinch of the coronavirus pandemic. Tuesday, the White House laid out an economic relief plan that would help both businesses and individuals affected by the spread of COVID-19. President Trump has voiced his support for aid in the form of a payroll tax cut for American workers and loan guarantees to critical industries like airlines and hotels. Indiana Senator Todd Young says while what's on the table isn't perfect, it is a start.
The House passed is something that is imperfect but worth consideration over here. And if we don't have an opportunity to amend that, as appears to be the case, then it's my expectation that will end up passing.
The price tag for the proposed package is more than $1 trillion. It's on top of the $8.3 billion in emergency funding passed by Congress just 2 weeks ago.
Most supermarkets, Amazon, and Walmart stores have been stripped bare of sanitizing wipes and supplies. The hardware stores and other places where you may still be able to find them so you don't waste your money. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Quality flooring, floors to your home. That's who.
It is 6:24, and we are looking into what is trending at 6. Lauren, a lot of people talking about Frozen 2.
Yes.
Because that was released by Disney Plus a little early, so we're going to talk about it too. The actor who voiced the beloved character Olaf from Disney's Frozen is helping out families stuck at home during the coronavirus pandemic. Josh Gad live streamed on Twitter a reading of one of his favorite children's book, Olivia Goes to Venice. Gad says he plans to read live at least 10 minutes a night.
Very cool. Well, Google, Chrome, and Netflix are teaming up to make social distancing a little more bearable. Netflix Party is a Chrome extension that allows you to host or attend a movie night with your friend from the comfort of your own separate homes. All you have to do is download the extension, start watching a Netflix show, and then click on the NP icon at the toolbar. It will give you a web address, and you can send it to whoever you want to join you. So I'll send you an invite later tonight, Meredith.
All right, sounds like a plan. And a Cincinnati family has found a creative way to pass the time while they are quarantined. Take a listen.
Social distancing is good for you. Always up with toilet paper. COVID-19, oh, I swear you on me. At this moment, I'm in quarantine.
J.J. Taylor and his entire family performed a remix of the song Come On Eileen, replacing those lyrics with ones about COVID-19. Their video was shared online and has since gone viral. J.J. also wants people to know that all the toilet paper seen in the video will be put to good use. Well, there's at least 6 of them there, so I would assume so.
Yeah, I think they need that. That's pretty funny.
That is good. That is good. A very talented family there.
Yes,
Modern day Partridge family.
House,
yeah, no, neither are we. All right, at 6:26, meteorologist Todd Clausen is looking at what we've got going on outside.
Yeah, they sound a lot better than the forecast that's heading our way here throughout the day today. I can guarantee that. We're starting off dry. That's the good news. If you do have to get out and about this morning, run to the grocery store. If you have to head to work, you'll be just fine. But by late morning, the rain is moving in. It turns into a steady rain throughout the afternoon. Could come down heavy at times and then eventually tapers off by about 7, 8 o'clock this evening. But some areas could see an inch of rain today. That's quite a bit. You notice the temperature trend will start in the 40s this morning, eventually climb into the 50s later on this evening, with our high temperatures today occurring shortly before midnight. Lauren?
Todd, thank you. No doubt you've seen local grocery stores stripped bare of toilet paper, disinfecting wipes, and more supplies. Most don't know when those shelves will be restocked, so consumer reporter John Matarese looks into some alternative stores that might have a few items left so you don't waste your money.
So you head to the grocery store, maybe Target or Costco, and all you see are empty shelves where sanitizer and disinfectant used to be. So what can you do if your supplies are starting to get low? Jennifer Hollifield, like many of us, can't find disinfecting wipes. They've even run out in the front of her grocery store.
They're running out of those wipes that you need to wipe the carts out.
But Rick Beck's local hardware store near her happened to have a few Clorox wipes and some tiny sanitizer bottles on this day.
Personal hand sanitizers.
When most of us think of our local hardware store, we think of light bulbs and electrical equipment, maybe some tools and hardware, but the last thing we think about is checking them for disinfecting wipes.
Local hardware stores have served every community they're in. We are kind of one of the places that are least thought about, but we should be the first thought on everybody's mind.
USA Today suggests if your supermarket and Costco are all out of household essentials, check smaller stores. It suggests checking Office Depot, Staples, Lowe's, Home Depot, and your local hardware store.
We still actually have some Clorox wipes.
And even dollar stores, which many people don't even think about. So keep checking, and please, if you find some, stop hoarding so that older people need it most can have some. That way don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now, Good morning, Indiana. On this Wednesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. As much of the state remains on virtual lockdown, 2 people have now died from COVID-19 in Indiana. The second death came in Johnson County. The state health department says there are now 30 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the state. 9 of those cases are in Marion County.
Governor Holcomb has activated the Indiana National Guard in an effort to slow the spread of COVID-19. The governor says the National Guard will be on duty to assist as needed. As of this morning, the Guard's exact duties are still unclear.
It looks like the Colts are taking a big shot at winning this fall. ESPN is reporting that the Colts will sign free agent quarterback Phillip Rivers to a 1-year contract worth $25 million. Rivers is 38 years old and holds 30 franchise records with the Chargers, but he and the Chargers mutually agreed to part ways after last season. So welcome to Indiana.
Yeah.
All right, it is 6:30 here on your Wednesday. It is a Storm Team 6 alert day.
That's right. Todd Clausen is standing by with when the rain is going to make its way into our area, Todd.
Yeah, you got to prepare this afternoon for a lot of rainfall to head our way, Lauren and Meredith. And as you walk out the door this morning, it's actually pretty quiet, but you have to plan ahead here, right? If you are going to be out and about, you need to grab the umbrella this morning and the jacket as well. The umbrella probably better than the rain jacket. Of course, you can tag team and grab both of them. But the umbrella, as we get into some heavier rainfall, is probably the better option later on this afternoon. The next couple hours, though, still dry with a temperature that's still going to be right around 40 degrees. It's really late morning and then throughout the afternoon hours that a lot of this rain starts to move in, and you see it all off to our west, and this is going to be streaming in our direction. It's all rain, though. Temperatures are above freezing. That is the good news. And as you look at the temperature trend, we don't really move a whole lot here through the noon hour. Most of our warming is going to be late tonight, actually. We're going to see our high occur shortly before midnight, but those showers should start to move in by 11 a.m. We'll time them out for you using TrueCast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you take to the roads this Wednesday. Here's a look to our west, I-70 near High School Road. Traffic here is moving along up to speed. It is fairly quiet out there this morning. We'll continue to keep you an eye out for any crashes or delays. Now, restaurants and bars, we know they're taking a big hit by these new rules prohibiting them from serving patrons in person. Some owners are taking their concerns surrounding employee pay directly to the mayor of Indianapolis. While sympathizing with Indy's business community, Mayor Joe Hogsett says unemployment is handled at the state and federal level. Eddie Sam is among restaurant operators petitioning for unemployment benefits to all hourly and salaried workers. He says that issue needs attention from elected officials in positions much higher than the mayor.
Right now, we're looking for leadership from anyone in a federal position. There's things that are on the table, things that are getting voted on, but what we really want is a plan. We can't have plan A through Z.
He says he's doing what he can by spending his own money in local restaurants. He's also amending city procedures like converting parking meters to carry-out and pickup zones. Right now at the IndyChannel.com, we have a list of all the restaurants in the area that are offering carry-out or delivery service, plus their hours of operation. It's a searchable database that our digital team is updating every day. You can find it on our website, theindychannel.com.
A Republican state lawmaker is blasting Governor Holcomb for his order shutting down bars and restaurants in response to COVID-19. Representative Kurt Nisley of Goshen posted a letter he sent to the governor on Facebook. Nisley accused the governor of using what he called, quote, the heavy hand of government to let fear control Hoosiers. He also claims the governor's order violates the state constitution. However, a state law signed shortly after the September 11 terrorist attacks gives the governor broad powers during disasters, including epidemics and public health emergencies. While we adjust to the changes of daily life due to the coronavirus, people in Italy remain on lockdown. Some of those people, Americans based in the country for military purposes. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, you spoke with one Indiana woman who is on lockdown in Naples. What has their experience been like?
You know, she had a very interesting perspective. She, her husband, and their 5 kids who are ages 3 to 11 years old have been on lockdown since last Monday. So they're going on 10 days now. Sarah and her family have lived in Italy for 2 years. She says they're fortunate at this time that their kids are normally homeschooled. So the change isn't major. Right now, they're still doing their schoolwork during the morning. Then the afternoons and evenings is when they have to get creative. Sarah says the restrictions mean they can't leave their municipality municipalities, and if they have to leave their house to go to the grocery store or pharmacy, they also have to carry a certificate stating where they're going. The family was paying attention to the spreading coronavirus, but she says they didn't think it would get to this point.
We weren't expecting it. Honestly, I don't think many of us here took it seriously until the decree was announced about the lockdown. In general, I think people will exercise their freedom as much as they are allowed.
And Sarah says after schools were closed, people were initially still congregating where they could in public places and restaurants, so she understands why the lockdown needed to happen. Sarah also tells me that as they're paying attention to what's going on in Italy, they're noticing that hospitals there are overburdened. Then she's also paying attention to what's going on in the United States and noticing there's an emphasis on flattening the curve here, something she says sounds like a great idea to prevent something like that from happening here. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The time now is 6:35. This week, many Hoosiers are not sure when they'll get their next paycheck due to businesses and the service industry closures. And so Interchurch Food Pantry, a nonprofit down in Johnson County, is ready to meet the needs of families in the community. This week, Interchurch Food Pantry staff and volunteers work to overhaul their normal system in order to help contain the spread of COVID-19. Now, normally people in need could just come into their facility and shop for groceries. But to avoid crowds, volunteers are pre-packaging boxes for families full of fresh and frozen groceries. Anyone in need in the community can come to their drive-thru during their business hours. You do not need any explanation for your situation. They are ready to serve any families in need. Pantry manager Carol Phipps tells RTV6 this week is already more busy, with many people showing up for the first time in need of a hand up.
We really have had such an outpouring from the people driving through who are immensely appreciative. One woman said she was just laid off from the restaurant that she worked at, and she didn't know how she was going to get by, and so she was in line.
Well, in order to continue with this drive-through process, Phipps tells us they need more healthy volunteers to package these meals. They welcome any students who are maybe off school to come and help them out. The Interchurch Food Pantry is also looking for monetary donations and some specific items. You can find more information on how to donate or volunteer on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
The response to COVID-19 is changing on a daily basis. The virus altering life for so many people. That fear of the unknown can be a trigger for those who deal with mental health issues. Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with the mental health professional on how you can help yourself and others.
Store shelves are empty. Health officials are recommending you stay at home, and things are changing every single day when it comes to COVID-19, something that health officials say could trigger someone's anxiety.
So one of the best things that we can do now is root ourselves into the present and what's happening right now.
Advice Joel Hutton is lending during this challenging time. The clinical therapist has seen an uptick in new patients at Indy Therapy Counseling, many feeling anxiety over the uncertainty surrounding the coronavirus.
Yeah, we really have. And even people that I've been seeing for a while, it's high up on the list, or at least somewhere on the list of anxieties or worries, concerns that are happening. Everybody kind of takes it to a different degree.
We chatted via FaceTime in an effort to maintain social distancing, and he tells me a lot of what his patients are feeling right now is dread.
We begin to anticipate the future, and most often the worst case scenario.
Hutton says the feeling of uncertainty is normal, and he wants to remind people struggling that they have dealt with unexpected situations before.
You have navigated unexpected circumstances hundreds, if not thousands of times throughout your life. And so even if unexpected circumstances happen as a result of the coronavirus, you can trust yourself to navigate those situations.
If you are feeling fine, Hutton recommends reaching out to loved ones and friends. Let them know you are available to just listen.
Just to listen and not necessarily try to fix. Ask them what they need, ask them what you can do for them, encourage them to stay in the moment.
Hutton says oftentimes when things like this are happening, our brains tend to wander, and they often go to places that are far worse than reality. He says when that happens, it's important to bring yourself back and ground yourself in what's happening right now. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. A star with deep ties to Indiana tests positive for COVID-19. More on her case and the warning she has for all her fans.
And there is always a desperate need for blood, and now there is an even greater need. Coming up, a man who knows something about the need for blood and how he is trying to help. It's 6:39. We'll be right back.
Easy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to touch more lives, including many celebrities. You've heard about the positive tests from Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, and Idris Elba. Now gospel music legend and Indiana native Sandy Patty says she has the virus. Patty said on her Facebook page that she hadn't felt well for several weeks.
This is not fake news. This is real. This is everything that they say that it is. And we just got to take it seriously.
Sandy Patty is a native of Anderson, Indiana. She and her husband now live in Oklahoma. She says they are self-quarantining for the next 14 days.
This morning, there's an urgent need for blood donors. IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe knows the importance of blood donations after nearly losing his life during an Indy 500 practice. Hinch lost 22 pints of blood in the crash nearly 5 years ago. That is twice the blood volume for a person like you or me. Since the coronavirus outbreak, the Red Cross says they've had 2,700 blood drives canceled. All of those canceled drives means nearly 87,000 pints of blood aren't making their way to blood banks.
Most of the blood that the Red Cross collects comes from drives at schools, high schools, universities, colleges, big businesses. Right. Obviously, all that shut down. So a lot of the deposits that you're getting in the blood bank are just not happening right now.
The mayor of Indianapolis, Joe Hogsett, joined the mayor of Hinchtown in giving blood on Tuesday. If you are interested in giving blood, you can visit redcross.org to set up an appointment.
We all know that older people are at risk, high risk for coronavirus, but doctors are warning about another group of people whom COVID-19 could be devastating. Next, some tips on how pregnant women should be handling this pandemic. Todd.
As you walk out the door this morning, grab the umbrella. It is a Storm Team 6 alert day. While it's not raining right now, that'll be changing in a big-time way. Our rain chances are high for today, tomorrow, and they linger into Friday as well. We'll talk all about the timing and how much rain you can expect in your neighborhood coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:43. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Take 3 years to pay only at Ashley Home Store.
Well, it's well reported that COVID-19 is especially dangerous for people who are older and have health issues. But doctors are also telling us that pregnant women belong in the same high-risk category as well.
RTV6's Cornelius Hawker talked to an OBGYN who's hoping to relieve some of the anxiety that mothers-to-be and their families might be feeling during this stressful time.
We're relying on our experiences with other respiratory illnesses like influenza and SARS.
That's how Dr. Shimon Neal says she and others taking care of pregnant women are addressing the concerns around COVID-19.
In those respiratory illnesses, pregnant women are at higher risk for being hospitalized and for having much more severe symptoms.
With such little data out there about COVID-19 and how it interacts with pregnant women, that's really all they can do at this point. It's hard to know for sure how many women who are pregnant have COVID-19, but we do know that at least 9 women with the virus delivered babies who didn't have it. That information is from the peer-reviewed medical journal, The Lancet. In the last several days, reports have come out from London that a newborn baby tested positive for the virus, but doctors are still trying to figure out if the mom gave it to the baby or if they got it during or after delivery. Dr. Neal tells me there are a lot of unknowns, and it'll be that way for a while.
The pregnancies that we have experience with now were exposed very late in their pregnancy. And so we don't know if there will be a difference of exposure early on in the pregnancy versus exposure later in the pregnancy. And that's something that's going to take a very long time to figure out.
That's why they're classifying pregnant women in the same risk group as those who are elderly.
We're evaluating if they're stable. We're really have a low threshold for any kind of intervention or hospitalization if they have a lot of significant respiratory symptoms.
Like Dr. Neal told me, the guidance for pregnant women surrounding this virus will continue to evolve, so you're encouraged to talk to your doctor and ask any questions you feel necessary to keep you and your baby safe. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Cornelius, thank you. Another question. Dr. Neal says she's been getting Envolve's breast milk. Right now, there's no evidence moms can pass it to their child through milk. But if you as a mom have or suspect you may have COVID-19, she says it's important for another caregiver to feed and take care of that child.
Time right now is 6:48. Today was supposed to be a centerpiece of Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Indiana, but the statewide tornado drill that was set for this morning has been canceled. The National Weather Service and the Indiana Department of Homeland Security say they've decided to do this because they want people to focus on social distancing and protecting themselves from the coronavirus. They say you should still plan out what you would do in case of a tornado or other severe weather. But right now there is no wake-up date for that statewide tornado drill. And Todd, we do have a Storm Team 6 alert day today, but not due to severe weather, correct?
Yeah, this is just some plain old rain that's going to be making its way into the area. Tomorrow there's actually the chance of a few isolated thunderstorms, but today it's all rain. But as you plan out your day, you definitely need to have the rain gear handy throughout the afternoon hours. So this morning it's mainly dry. Late morning, a few scattered showers start to move into the area, but really from noon to 4 p.m. the rain is steady, and then eventually this evening, once we get to sunset, which is around 8 o'clock and beyond, that's when the rain is going to start to taper off. So if you're thinking about heading out to take the dog for a walk or just to get out of the house and walk yourself, this morning is going to be better. Our featured dog of the day is Asher, the Great Dane, in sunnier days here, just sitting there next to a stream, it looks like. And of course, you could send your dog pictures to my Facebook page, Todd Clausen, RTV6, and we'll get them on the air. Green pause here initially this morning, then we'll give you the caution pause this afternoon as the rain starts to build in with temperatures that will be in the 40s. So Storm Team 6 radar is quiet right now. The clouds have moved in overnight, firmly in place, not banking on any sunshine here throughout the day. And all this rain off to our west is going to be heading our direction. What we'll get is not so much what's in Iowa. It's in southern Missouri and Arkansas that's going to be lifting to the north. And it comes in by mid-morning with a few spotty showers. By the noon hour and beyond, that's when it overspreads all of central Indiana. And there will be some pockets of heavier rain. Can I rule out the chance of maybe a rumble of thunder here in southern locations throughout the afternoon hours? No, but we're not expecting severe weather in central Indiana today. And then this rain will continue into the evening commute before starting to taper off as we work our way into the evening hours. And that's the first wave of rain that comes through. We'll get a break tomorrow night into Thursday morning, but then more rain will be heading our way during the day tomorrow. Now, this storm system will bring some warmer air into the picture, so our high today in the 50s occurs shortly before midnight, and then tomorrow we're up into the mid-60s, even some 70s possible tomorrow, so it's a mild day. But tomorrow we do bring in showers and a few thunderstorms, and there is the small chance of a severe storm tomorrow with damaging wind being the main threat. The timing for the rain tomorrow, very similar to today. The first half of the day is dry, then the rain moves in. It's steady throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. It may linger even into Friday morning as the cold front comes through. I'm going to stop our rainfall potential here tomorrow morning. This is the first wave of rain that we deal with today, about a ½ inch to an inch of rain. I'll advance it now to include the rain that will fall throughout the day tomorrow. And you notice everybody's basically 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain by the time we get to Friday morning. So wouldn't be shocked if some flood warnings do get issued later on this week by the National Weather Service. Once the front goes through on Friday, it's quiet though on Saturday and Sunday with temperatures in the 40s, then back into the 50s to start next week. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on your commute as you're heading into downtown, maybe going to work this morning. This is at the North Split, I-65 and I-70. Traffic is still moving along up to speed. No crashes to report here around the metro area.
It's a whole lot quieter at schools these days. Next, a sweet and encouraging message from teachers at one school to all the kids they are missing right now. We'll be right back.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Well, even though many students would have been on spring break anyway, we know they probably aren't going to be back in class for a while because of the COVID-19 outbreak. And so teachers at one local school wanted to make sure that their students knew that they were missed.
The principal at Clarks Creek Elementary School in Plainfield took a song from the Broadway musical Hamilton, reworked the lyrics a little bit, and added some words of encouragement from teachers and sent this reminder to students.
You'll be back, time will tell, and our country will be strong and well. Oceans rise, empires fall, coronavirus can't take it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send you videos and pictures to remind you of my love.
That is Clark Creek's principal, Marissa Donovan, doing the singing. All the teachers there with the messages to their kids.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yes, and we have seen a lot of great things that teachers, not only locally, but across the country, are doing to stay connected with their students, despite all this extra time off that none of us were anticipating they would have. So way to go, teachers.
Plans, you could say. So we're appreciative for all the extra work they're doing this week as we're getting into this new normal. Right now, we do want to check in on our forecast today. It's a Storm Team 6 alert day, so if you're trying to get out, maybe get a walk in and get out of your house, Todd, when's the best time to do that?
This morning, now through about 10 a.m., the best opportunity for dry conditions across the area. Rain arrives by the noon hour, it becomes steady this afternoon, continues into the evening hours as temperatures eventually climb into the 50s. The high today will be very late, closer to the midnight hour. 68 tomorrow, but another wet afternoon and evening with thunderstorms moving through, drier for the weekend.
Todd, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic.
All your news throughout the day is on the RTV6 app, and any news about COVID-19 can be found on the IndyChannel.com/coronavirus.